The history of India is not just the history of the northern Indian plains. It's not just about the Mauryans, the Guptas, the Delhi Sultanate, or the Mughals. India being such a vast country, it had other empires also, and empires on such a bigger scale that we can't even imagine. And the most brutal part of it is that we haven't heard much about them. We haven't read much about them because, as long as I remember, when I was in school, when we had the chapters came about the Rashtrakuts or the Chalukyas, we were simply told that we could skip these chapters because they are not that important. And it used to come into my mind why we aren't reading about these great empires. And that's where my fascination for the South started. And eventually, now I've learned about the great power of the South, the Kannada empires, that is the Chalukya Empire, the Rashtrakuta Empire. And then deep south, I learned about the Pandyas, Pallavas, and the great Cholas. There is no power in Indian history till date which was a seafaring empire which had colonies outside India, and that is only the great Cholas. And Cholas, at their very zenith of power, there was no power in Indian subcontinent who could face to them. Such was the power of the Cholas under Rajaraj Chol and Rajendra Chol. Vanakkam, Namaskaram friends, my name is Amit Mahajan. I welcome all of you to my YouTube channel, Layman History and Geopolitics. Friends, today we are going to talk about a very simple topic. And the topic is, why did the Kannada Empire and the empires in Tamilkam, that's Tamil Nadu, why would they always clash with each other? Normally, the thought would be that these were bordering regions. Thus, the powers, the contesting powers, came into contact with each other. They wanted to exert their influence. They wanted more lands. Thus, they fought with each other. But it is a very holistic view, I would say, because naturally, the powers, the kings who rule these lands want to expand their power. And naturally, they would come into conflict because at the end of the day or the beginning of the day, it's all about the egos, it's about the power. When we talk about the Kannada empires, we have the Chalukya Empire, the early Chalukya Empire, the Chalukyas of Vatapi. They were basically based in the Malaprabha Valley. They expanded out of there. They defeated the Kadambas, then they defeated the Kalchuris, entered into marriage alliance with the Gangas, and they basically formed a very big empire. After them came the Rashtrakuts, and after Rashtrakuts again came the Chalukyas of Kalyani. In the south, if we talk about Tamil Nadu, we had the Pallavas. Pallavas were a great power centered around Kranchi. Then we had in the middle, in the Kaveri River Valley, we had the Cholas, the greatest empire in my view which India has ever seen. In the south, we had the Pandyas around Madurai. So these empires were always at clash with each other. Now we see the reasons why they clashed with each other, the deep reasons. See, these are bordering regions, Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. Karnataka at that time was not very agricultural. To be very fair with you, Karnataka region was not that fertile. Upper regions of northern Karnataka, you could say during the Raichur, Dwab, or if you go further north towards Maharashtra, Godavari Valley, that was very fertile. And that's the very reason these Kannada empires actually extended first towards the north. They extended towards Maharashtra because they wanted agricultural produce to sustain themselves. And when they had the power, when they had the resources, and basically when they had the tanks of the ancient world, that is the elephants, which they got an ample supply from the central India, that's around Chhattisgarh, that they started maintaining big armies. And when they started maintaining big armies, they started venturing out. So when they started venturing out, we know the Rashtrakuts defeated the Pratiharas, captured Kannauj, they defeated Palas of Bengal, and it was a huge empire by even today's standards, the Rashtrakuta Empire. And when we go south, we have the Cholas around there. We remember that the Cholas, as we've already discussed, Cholas were the only seafaring colonizing empire in Indian history. They captured territories in Southeast Asia. The reasons would vary basically, and then we have to remember that the Rajaraj Chol had burnt entire fleet in Malabar coast of the ships because he wanted control on the trade. So the basic factor around here is the land and the trade. During those times, the kings were considered to be very powerful. Every king is considered to be very powerful, but they said they had the sanctity of the God. So they were the representatives of God in their respective kingdoms, and when they were representatives of God in their kingdoms. They were the upholders of the dharma and the saviors. And the most important part is they were embodiment of masculinity. They were supposed to have great prowess, even sexual prowess, and they always wanted fame and glory. When they wanted fame and glory, it was natural that when the sowing season was over, they used to collect their armies and they used to march on expeditions to the surrounding areas or the other kingdoms. And basically, what was the source of income for these regions at that time, for the kingdoms at those times? The source of income was three. Three things were there. First was the agricultural produce. Second was when they used to march into other lands, they used to conquer those lands, pillage those lands, plunder those lands, and bring the war booty back, which used to become a source of pride for the victorious kings. And he used to actually give this booty all around his kingdom. So in that way, he used to prove that he's masculine, he is worthy of being their king. And the third source of income was trade. So you had these coastal regions on the eastern coast, Kaveri Patnam, Nagapattinam. On the western coast, you had Kalyana, then you had Bharuch, the areas up Navsari, up north, Mangalore. These were big trading ports, and they traded in arts, articrafts, jewels, spices, brassware, even horses. They traded on a large scale on a world basis. The trade was with Arabia also, Egypt also, Persia also, Iraq also, China also, Southeast Asia also, Malaysia, Indonesia, those parts also. So when the trade was in these parts, the basic feud was that which kingdom has control over these trade routes, control over these ports. So the one which had control over these ports used to collect the taxes. He used to have a steady supply of the camphor. Also, camphor was very important during those times. Very actually, it came on exorbitant prices. Today we get camphor very easily, but during those times it used to be sourced from the Indonesian archipelago. So they used to have, whosoever had control over these ports, he used to have income in the source of taxes also, and he used to have a steady supply of goods also, which he could actually give over to their subjects, to their nobles, or to their women in the palaces. So it was very much required as a part of esteem. So every empire, be it the Chalukyas, Rashtrakuts, or the Cholas, Pandavas, Palyas, all wanted to have a control over these trade routes, and that is the very reason they fought with each other. As regards the Cholas and the Chalukyas, see, they were expanding. The Chalukyas were expanding towards the south, the Cholas were expanding towards the north, and the bone of contention was the Raichur Dwab. In the Raichur Dwab, the land between the Krishna and Tungabhadra rivers, it was a fertile land. Cholas wanted to control this land because it was a gateway to the northern Karnataka and the Maharashtra region. So if they had control over this land, they could push further north and expand their territories. It is said that Rajaraj Chol had been defeated by the Chalukyas and his son Rajendra Chol, and he had said that he won't go on a hunting expedition till he had defeated the Chalukyas. And it so happened that Rajendra Chol defeated the Chalukyas, burnt their capital of Manyakheta, and avenged the honor of his father. So this was the western coast. On the eastern coast, these powers clashed over Vengi region. The Vengi region, which is the Vengi region? Vengi region is the region between the Godavari and the Krishna rivers. That's basically the coastal Andhra region and the fertile land of Godavari and Krishna Dwab. So that the Cholas considered it to be their backyard. And it so happened that the Chalukyas had various branches. So there were Western Chalukyas, the main branch. Then one of their brothers, Kubuja Vishnuvardhan, was given the control of Vengi when they had conquered the land, the Chalukyas. And he was based out there. His family was based out there. They came to know him as the Eastern Chalukyas. These Eastern Chalukyas had marriage relations with Cholas also. So they used to, at times they used to go on the side of Western Chalukyas. At times they used to come on the side of the Cholas also. Kulothunga Chol was actually half Chol and half Chalukya. So it's basically for this fertile land also that these powers fought with each other. So in the end, we can sum it up in this way: for the expansion of land, for having control of the trade routes, for having control of the seaports, then to expand their territories into Raichur Dwab, and to gain control over the Vengi area, that's Andhra in today's terms. These empires used to clash with each other, and most of the time, at times the Chalukyas had an upper hand, at times the Cholas had an upper hand. I remember one of the Chola kings marched upon, was pillaging the Raichur Dwab. At the very moment the Chalukya king moved around from the Vengi area, attacked Kanchi with the support of the Kaketyas. So it was a very, actually the chessboard was very mixed around there. You never knew which power would come in support of whom, who would fight with whom, so, as it happens today in politics also. So, but those times, those people had honor. For their honor, they used to go, they did anything. That's the need of the hour today also. Our politicians need to have honor. And congrats to all my viewers. Tamil Nadu has registered a double-digit growth in this quarter. That's a great news. We'll do a segment on it also. In the very next segment, we will discuss if Periyar was anti-God in real terms. So friends, this was all from me. I hope you liked my video, and if you did, kindly like, subscribe and share my YouTube channel, Layman History and Geopolitics. My name is Amit. Friends, my channel is also open for membership. Kindly support my channel by joining as a member. It is not a very big amount. It is just about 2 cups of tea which you drink on whichever standard you have. It's just 2 cups of tea or coffee. Kindly join my channel and support me. That was all from me. Kindly like, subscribe and share, and if possible, join my channel. Thank you. Vanakkam, namaskaram to all of you. My name is Amit.